My name is Jakub Polaczyk, and as a Vice President of New York Dance and Arts Innovation and Artistic Director of the Chopin and Friends Festival in this 2021. We're still continuing these quarantine talks with the artists from different fields about the recent times, life during the pandemic. Today we have a special guest, the choreographer, and also working with videos, so video artist, Renata Skobo, who originally was born in Serbia, but grew up in Poland, and currently is based in New York City. And so, thank you very much, Renata, for being with us and accepting the invitation.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. I hope you have a lot of things to do. We still didn't have any person related to the ballet, actually, to dance, and you are actually the first one. So, Renata, where are you now? Tell us where you are now.
Actually, at the moment, I'm in Krakow, in Poland.
Oh, my country. That's my country and my city where I was born.
Yeah, great, yeah.
Right, so how long have you been there?
Since August, so quite some time.
Oh, quite some time, since August, right? So I was also in Poland, actually, during the summer. But as we know, because you live in New York City, the flight connection was really difficult because the flights were canceled and postponed. So how did you fly to Poland? Did you have a direct flight, or did you go through Germany? How did you get there?
No, actually I went through Amsterdam. So I had a layover in Amsterdam, and then I came here initially for a month, and I stayed till now.
So that's what I guess from this conversation, that probably you are having everything's online, projects, everything going online, right?
Yes, I have everything online, but I had difficulties to come back because of my visa processing.
So can you tell us about that? That's also a very interesting topic. I never asked anyone about that, but it's a really problem because I also have a friend. So tell about this. That would be great.
Yeah, it's a huge problem actually. So I had to, because I recently renewed my O1 artist visa, and I got an approval while I was still in New York in July. So then I decided to come to Krakow to have my interview in the embassy. And I asked them prior to my arrival, is the embassy open and can I come and do the interview? And they told me, yes, you should come. So
that was on the Stolarska Street.
Exactly.
I know.
And then I arrived, and then a day before my interview, they emailed me that actually I'm not eligible to come for an interview because I need to obtain something like national interest exception, which means, for example, I should be a doctor or a business guy who needs to be back in United States. And unfortunately, we as artists are not considered as essential.
I know.
Unfortunately. So apparently I'm very lucky to have two nationalities, so Serbian and Polish, and then apparently from Serbia I am able to come back to New York. So I needed to go to Serbia to get my interview there, and I got my visa. But then I decided to stay for Christmas and holidays with my family because it was so stressful time, and I'm already here 5 months. So
I understand.
I'm coming back.
But Renata, do you need to go to Serbia and you have to fly to New York through Serbia, or you can fly through Krakow?
No, I need to still, so I came back here for holidays, and then I still have to go to Serbia and fly from there.
From Serbia, okay, that's my question. Okay, it's very complicated. Are you going to take a train? How much time does it take from Krakow to Serbia?
Actually, I'm going to drive because my parents are going as well with me.
Drive. How many hours, if I'm curious?
10 hours.
10 hours drive. Okay, not so extremely bad, but okay.
Yeah,
so it's a long drive.
This is my story, but coming back soon, beginning of February to New York.
So February, that's very good. But also, Renata, because I remember, because you are based here, so how about your situation, all the thing with the apartment in New York City and all your accessories? Probably everything is here, right? Storage.
Everything is there, but I needed to put everything in the storage because I wasn't sure how long am I going to be away. Everything is so uncertain. So I just decided to drop my apartment, unfortunately. But yeah, this is how it is. I feel like all are in difficult situations, and we need to be more flexible and open for a change.
But you know, the situation in New York City was very depressing in March, in April. It was a very difficult situation, you know, that we had to all deal with, you know. And so how did it impact your work? Was it disturbing or creative for you? For example, March, April, how was it with you?
Actually, March was pretty horrible.
Horrible, yeah.
Yeah,
You.
it was pretty horrible because February was a very good month for me, right before everything started with the pandemic, and I just applied for to few dance festivals in New York, and all of a sudden I was up, like they let me know right before everything happened that I can present my works that are very important for me in May. So I started doing the auditions and just started preparing all this stuff. But then,
so what is postponed or canceled? That's also important.
It's postponed, but it was postponed till September, and then
still
we don't know.
That's right. That's right.
So March was very it was very shocking for me because I think we all never been in this kind of weird situation, especially in New York, which is a very fast city and things are happening, and so it was not that good. But then after a few weeks, I decided that when I realized that it's going to take some time, I decided to start working online.
So it's very interesting. I'm very curious. I'm sure also people would like to know, as a dancer, as a choreographer, how do you work online? How do you do choreography just by not face to face? Did you need to invent your own method for this situation, or how is it?
So the thing, it's not that I started doing choreographies immediately. I would say I started exploring the online, the virtual world. So first of all, I started teaching online, like every day, teaching dance and movement classes.
Okay.
So this is in the beginning it was weird, but then I got used to it, and now I'm fine. Beginning was a little bit hard.
Do you have international students or basically New York based dancers?
International. So this is a nice it was a nice experience that now all of a sudden we could connect all over the world, from Asia, from United States, and then the one thing that I've done with actually with my fiance and with one of our friend who is from Mexico, we started, like we decided to meet every week and explore the virtual world by using Zoom and thinking how we could do a choreography, not only with a movement, but also with sounds and with images, with how to use this platform more creatively than only face to face.
So then you are combining dance with videos, two different kind of fields, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then, to be honest, then since I came to Poland, actually this was more stressful than
really.
Yeah, because of my situation with visa and all of this stuff.
That's also very bad, you know.
It was very, and you know, when you probably know when you are in a very stressful situations, it's not, for me, it's not, I'm not able to be very creative.
I understand completely, yes.
Yeah. So, and then after a while, once I got my visa, finally, I started doing, but things here in Poland are a little bit easier in a way that I have access to studios, so I can still work in spaces that are, I can go to a theater, not to watch, not to, like I have an access because I used to work here for a long time. So I
remember, yes, you told me. But you know, you work for the ballet also, yes, in Krakow.
Yes.
And so, but how is the situation? I don't know with the ballets nowadays. Are they going online or they are shut down in Krakow?
Nothing is
Nothing,
happening.
nothing.
Nothing.
Even online, even online.
Even online, I would say people here are not that open-minded as they are in United States in terms of online. They just are not willing to accept yet. They think everything is going to be as it was before.
Yes, temporary.
Yeah. So when I talk to them, I'm like, I think no, it's probably, but maybe we are going to do 50-50, but I don't think it's going to be the same as it was before. So we need to adjust also our minds to the change.
When you work with the students, and also do you use Zoom for lesson? And you have many groups of the many dancers, like a group of dancers, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to coordinate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's hard. Then you have to divide your brain, because for the different part of the screen, then it's different. In the reality, it's very different because you have a different perspective. But in this way, you are like working like the kind of a completely different view, you know.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
But how about, I want to also mention about this your duo, very interesting. Yes, with Han, with your fiance, right? Because you were working many times, trying to incorporate different medias, also videos, and you had a lot of great ideas and a lot of projects going. So how is the situation with your duo? Do you have any plans, for the future? Are you working on something particular that that maybe you want to also, maybe you have some also ideas how to refer that to the current times where we live with the pandemic, with the isolation? You know, the festival that I was directing, the Chopin and Friends Festival, this year we have the theme isolation and connectivity related to them. Actually, we change it because related to the topic of the current time. So, but do you plan also maybe refer that in your art to this topic?
So actually we have one, it was a very successful project called Unlimited. And so actually we've done that in 2013, and it's about, actually it's a very interesting subject, very interesting topic, and I think it can relate to what's happening right now. It's about being separated. We are dancing in front of a glass, so there is a glass in between us that is dividing us, so we cannot touch each other, or we just see each other, but it's
Perfect.
we are talking about how we are also different but in a way similar. So we show this with a movement that we are also talking here about cultures, because we are from different cultures, and how hard it is sometimes to communicate, and that the movement is always our how to say space that we meet, and we feel the synergy. So the title is because we were always talking about uh, about being unlimited in art and in love, in a relationship, with other people, with family. That there is no limits. That if you really are into something, you still can move forward. You don't need to stop yourself. Or so we are talking about differences in terms of everything, not only racial, but I think it's a very good subject too, because still we are talking, it's 2021 and we are still in this, you know, so so I feel like this is a very open project that we've done. We presented it once in not once, few times in Krakow, here in Krakow, and also twice or three times in New York.
Mm-hmm. So where in Krakow, if I can ask, where in Krakow?
We presented it in there is I don't know if you know this place, for sure you know Hotel Forum.
I know it well.
Yeah. So we used some space because we really like to present this not on a typical stage, like not. We just like to find some weird spaces that we could present this.
Okay.
And also in Nowochódzkie Centrum Kultury.
Oh yes, no, okay, I know this place, of course, very well. But why not Serbia also?
Why not Serbia? Actually, it's a good question. I don't know why. It's been, I used to work a lot in Serbia, but then I found that sometimes it's too hard to organize stuff there.
So it's easier to organize in Poland rather than in Serbia. It is easier. Okay, that's the point. Okay.
It is easier here in Poland, but still, I love Serbia and I love to work, especially that I work with. You know, with my projects are based on Serbian culture and music and Balkan culture. So
Balkan.
Yeah.
But which city are you originally from? Are you from the capital of?
100 kilometers from the capital. So it's called Kraljevo. It's yeah, more on the south of Serbia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that this we would like to. I just want to mention one more thing, that we would like to develop this project Unlimited now. I think using an online virtual, yeah, because I
maybe
think
you can also extend with some interactions. I'm just having an idea. You know, interactions with the online audience. You know, something that people can interact is somehow away from the different part of the world. You know, and we have some technologies that can help with that.
Sure.
That it can go to the different path, you know, regarding the development.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, but also tell me, okay, we are talking about the Poland, that you actually are divided somehow because you spent half year, right, in Poland and half year in New York. If you can compare those two words, you know, because for sure they affected your thinking, yes, in your art making. If you can compare and tell us maybe about some differences and what did you learn from Poland, yes, as an artist working in Poland, I have experience working there, and also what did you learn from US and how do you combine those two elements? It might be also we can mention about Serbia, okay? If you can tell us. It's a very interesting topic. I'm sure people would love to know about that.
So it's working in Poland was very. I mean, I learned here a lot before I moved to New York, because I finished ballet school, and then I lived also for 2 years in France, in Paris. So
oh wow, another center.
Yeah, I also did like 2 years of dance education over there, and I would say it was very like I was very lucky to be in a great high school here in Krakow, and also to have wonderful community around me, that they were really pushing me forward to do what I really love, which is dance, because I don't think dance is very much appreciated in Poland. Still is not, even if it's changing, but it's slow. It's still somewhere behind. So I was very lucky to meet all of these people who were very motivating, and also, and then I started dancing with the company Art Color Ballet. This is a contemporary dance company combining body painting and dance. And it was amazing because we were traveling the world and rehearsing every day, and it was a real company work.
But where did you rehearse? Did you rehearse in Krakow?
In Krakow.
In Krakow, yeah. Rehearse.
In Krakow, and it was really amazing experience, and it lasted for 10 years. But I feel that at one point I was just I felt that particularly Krakow is already too small for me, in a way that I want to do more things, or that I want to meet new people who can inspire me. So I can say that working here was amazing and I learned a lot, but then when I saw what's happening in New York, it was just like my brain exploded.
I understand. Do you remember the year when you came to New York? Where was the first? 2016 was your first time?
No. Before I came here, I think maybe 2014, just for a few days.
Few days,
but
okay.
I moved to New York 2016. So yeah, and then so this is what I could say, that the experience in Poland was very it was education also. I started my career here and I had a huge experience, and it was amazing, but kind of I felt that's enough. I want to make a step forward and see something else.
And what did you learn in New York?
And in New York, I'm still learning, I would say. In New York, I feel it's a city that you never stop learning. That's why I love it. And what do I learned? Sometimes I could, for sure, this feeling that sometimes I feel overwhelmed in New York with so many creative people around me and with so many possibilities, that sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if I can.
How to choose? How to handle?
Yes, what to choose, exactly, because here I feel when I'm in Poland or in Serbia, for example, this was the case in Serbia, that there is not so many people, especially in this, I started creating in the small city that I was born in, and it was only me maybe having these ideas and choreographing and people, and but it was completely different. So I could go and meet different musicians that are really playing the Balkan music, that I could feel the roots. And New York is everything, so sometimes can be overwhelming, but still I learn a lot every day. Even now when I'm here and when I connect to people from there, I learn.
Do you know many artists from Serbia here also in New York, or more Polish?
I would say more Polish, but then in February, as I mentioned, when I started working on my project that was about to be presented in May, that was postponed, I met amazing people, Serbian people in
Serbian artists, Serbian
artists, and dancers, great people. So I really appreciate also this.
So I'm curious, where is the community of from Serbia in New York? Is it Brooklyn or where are they mostly?
As I know, many of them live in Astoria.
Astoria, so that's where I lived. So in Queens.
Yes, exactly.
In Queens, exactly. So many Serbian people.
Yeah.
Okay, but also have you studied any traditional instrument? Have you studied any instruments? No music. But you like classical music, right? Do you like to listen? Do you like doing choreography to classical music? For example, Chopin, Polish composer, or the Romantic. Do you like to do choreographies to those old masters?
Sure. And I like to do contemporary choreography to classical music because it's a nice,
combination.
Yes,
combination.
So yeah, definitely. But I would say my favorite thing to do is to explore more like a folk music.
Folk music. So traditional music. Maybe you can do something with mazurkas by Chopin, which are actually a little bit inspired with them, but they are very, very original. Yeah. But Renata also tell me about your dreams as an artist. for sure you have some dreams. And what is your maybe your main dream? If you want to share, if you don't, that's also fine. Some artists don't like to share their dreams, but if you would like to say maybe your dream, what would you like to do as an artist?
I have a very
Specific dream.
Yes, like since always. So I just always wanted to, first of all, to be a dancer and to be on the stage. But now my dream is to still keep doing the choreography and to create and to always have this connection with the movement, because this is something that I cannot imagine not to have the possibility to do it. So my dream is just to keep doing what I'm doing, because you never know. Something can happen that you are not able to do your work anymore as you did previously. So I just really pray that I could keep going with what I'm going, and that I could also evolve and develop myself as an artist. And
but coming to New York was also a dream or not?
It was a dream.
It was a dream.
So
it came true. It came true.
I have to say that I have a very specific and
straightforward
something. I'm trying step by step to move towards my dream. So
and we as a note dancers, we would like to also know if you envision some choreography, if you first happens in your imaginations or first come from your body. I don't know if you understand me, but for example, you have some ideas about some projects that you are working. So first you are thinking about this. I'm also interested in that about creation of music. And I would like to compare that from my also perspective, because the first you always see the gestures in your head and then you try to test out, or maybe you improvise and then you discover the things that actually you would like to do from your but first it comes from your body. So how is in your case?
In my case, it's very connected to the music. So if I hear the music, specific music or particular music that we choose or I choose or whoever, I see the movement in my head.
So first imagination,
and of course when I start practicing this movement or doing this movement, it can change a million times and I can start improvising and it's different. But first I could even walk down the street and listen to the music and I see this movement. So
because that's also very important. I can just share my perspective. Sometimes we as a musician, I ask this question, a lot of my composers, friends, but also musicians, performers, when you hear the movement of the sound, you actually see the gestures. So you see a lot of shapes, a lot of things happening, because that's a code also in music, which has this kind of body inside, So many composers also like composing while they are walking. I'm also, for example, the time a composer. That might be interesting and maybe a little bit weird for some people, because why do you need to walk when you compose? Why, for example, Brahms, when he was writing music, he has to walk back and forth in his room, because when you walk, you have the movement, like dancer choreographers, and music is also a movement. And then you sometimes code the things in the sounds. So you as a choreographer can see it even more precise and try to work with those movements inside the music. Even, I don't know if you have thought about this, even if you have music that is not for ballet and has no relation to dance, you can do one amazing choreography even to the abstract art, because it's just the simple two sounds, they always will have some movement. So I feel this is so connected, it's so parallel always. And but it's interesting that some choreographer might see so different things. If I see the choreographies of the different ballets, if I see choreography to the different music, to the same music and different choreographer, they see very different things. Isn't that similar, like painters who can paint very different paintings to the same music? Right? Exactly. It's interesting how individually someone can see the things. But how, maybe last thing, how does the tempo of the performance change your idea of movements? Because I know the tempo is also very important, what you can do with your body in this particular tempo. When you work in the ballet, there are particular tempos that you can do these movements that you can't do in the others. And when you have a piece that you do choreography, Renata, for example, and you have a live performance, and it's always slightly different, your body can feel that. And can you see the different choreography for the same piece performed by the different orchestra on the different player, different interpretation, but in a different tempo and different changes, or it's always very similar? So it's about the structure, about the music, but also, or maybe also about the interpretation. That's an interesting question that I would like to ask you as a final one.
So I would say, first of all, that music really defines everything and the movement, and it's a very important part for me. Like the first, through this I see something, as I saw before, as I said before. But with the tempo, I would say I really love to play with the tempo, and it's not always the same. I can see different things, and I can see playing with the tempo in a way that, let's say music is fast, but you don't move, like opposite, and playing with.
That's great. It's counterpoint.
Exactly. And I love to do that. Or music is slow and you do it fast. So I don't like to do like it has to be this or that. It's actually very interesting to see some particular movements to a completely different music. It can be wonderful because it can open something completely new. So I think this is what I would say, that just like being open and more creative in a way that
it's very creative, I like, because you are not transcribing. You are not transcribing the gestures in music into the same gestures as a movement, but you can go against that and you can create completely the different connection with having something. So you like to also do experiments in this direction, right?
No, I love it. And I always say, if someone is, if you are an audience and you hear the strong sound, it doesn't have to be like intense, but like something that it's really holding into your ear, and you see the person who is on the stage even only standing but has something strong in their body, his or her body, that it's already a performance. It doesn't have to be, I don't know, like it's something that really depends on how you interpret as an actor or as a dancer on the stage, and you know how to be on the stage. It's just simply to be on the
yes
stage.
And you can build a new interpretation through the gestures of the same work, because the work without those gestures is a different work, but with those gestures it has a different meaning. So you are creating something different. I have a lot of friends also working with that. And how they are working with video, so they are working with pictures. You working with video, you know that, right? But it's also very similar, that sometimes they can get against, sometimes they can support, sometimes they can go even completely in a different direction, and they can do interpretation with the music. So music is also very important, but it's the same with the dancers, But do you like better work with the group of dancers? So my question is, if I'm gonna ask composer, do you like to write for orchestra, or do you like to write for solo performer, for the flute? Because when you have solo, you can work on so much details. But when you have a group like orchestra, it's very different. You have to sometimes compromise, to find compromise. You have to deal with so many people. But you do like working in let's say a chamber dance, so like maybe 1-2 dancers, or the group of maybe 20-30 dancers. So how about you?
I love to work with both options, but I feel that maybe slightly better works for me when I work with a group.
With a group?
Yeah, because I also love to create choreographies which are based, when I see the people, I see the elements. So it's not only about the movement itself at one person, but it's also how you
interconnect
between them, and they can do so many things only by creating this image. We call it in Polish rysunek. It's what we
the drawing
means
the drawing. Yes, or drawing of them.
So you create the drawing out of those elements. So I really love to create with a group because then you have many
Of course,
options.
you know, the macro structures of day shapes can do other things
Of
that one
course.
person can't do because that's only one or two. You
Yeah.
don't have those possibilities, you know.
So it's a completely as different creation.
It's
Yeah.
different, but for sure it's more demanding because the things that you can do with one dancer and two dancers might not work so well with the group.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, and probably they might be simplified. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the
That's
same
true.
like working with orchestras, you know, is exactly the same. It's
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. 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 I can imagine. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, thank you, Renata, very much. I see now you have our evening. No, it's 4 o'clock, but
Yeah.
it's dark in
5
Krakow.
p.m. Yeah. It's
It's
dark.
really dark. Yes.
And you are in New York.
Yes, I'm New York. Yes, today actually you know, it was snowing a little bit during this Christmas, the holidays and Christmas, and
Okay.
but now there's no snow and the weather is rather, it's not so warm, but it's not so cold. You'll be here soon, right? In a few weeks.
Yeah. In a few weeks. Yeah.
Yes. So
Currently looking for the apartment.
still Greenpoint, still in Greenpoint. Maybe you can.
Still in Greenpoint, but we will see.
We'll
Maybe
see.
somewhere else. Yeah. We're.
I'm gonna also interview your fiance, and he will tell probably completely different. He doesn't know what were your answers about
Yeah.
the situation, but he's in Korea now currently, right?
He's in Korea.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
we'll also try to reach him out soon.
Exactly.
But Renata, thank you very much. So all the best. I hope that the other dreams will come true. That
Thank
you will
you
find
too.
inspirations and creativity for this 2021. Maybe the difficult time will make us stronger, you know, as an
Yeah.
artist, and will change our art, also our maybe perspective, maybe find also new ways. You know, also in
Yeah.
difficult times, there is always a time when we can find good things. So we should aim for that, and
Exactly.
I hope we will have a good future also in
Yes.
art. So thank you very much, Renata. Have a nice evening, and
Thank you so much for
see you
inviting
in
me.
New York. See you in New York.
Yes, exactly.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.